A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Honorable Keith, the chair for Universal Peace Federation, Honorable Robin Marsh, you have always been so kind. Madam Margaret, civil society members from various countries, philanthropists like Chaudhry Ishtiaq, who has given a very elaborate talk, and we are proud of his contributions in our area. Then we have social activists like Shehzada Hayat, a most dynamic worker and social worker, and he has tremendous contributions in building bridges between the nations and all that. I also see here one of my golf partners, Sadakat, sitting at the back. He's done PhD in computer sciences, in nuclear science, and a very learned friend, Malak Sadakat. We have some religious scholars and the business community members, ladies and gentlemen. You have heard a very illuminating talk by Mr. Keith. He has given a bird's eye view of what is happening in geopolitics, and that is a very elaborate and very comprehensive analysis, and I tend to agree what you have said. I feel it indeed is a great honor and privilege for me to be here at UPF, a great forum, to share my humble views on global South perspective and impact of Ukraine-Russia conflict and Hamas-Israel conflict on geoeconomics and geopolitics. Before proceeding any further, I want to also say that UPF is a global network of peace builders. It is an international and interreligious platform of individuals, organizations, and gifted members of civil society. Who all work under the aegis of United Nations for this noble cause, and we therefore salute their dedication and their hard work, and I'm sure you would like to all clap for them. Ladies and gentlemen, international peace means world without violence, an atmosphere of absolutely peaceful coexistence, equal human rights. It also means food security for people. It also means good health and education facilities. In the absence of peace, disputes cannot be managed. If there is no peace, then the conflicts will continue. Economic prosperity remains a far cry. And in the absence of peace, inflation gets out of control. Because of the conflicts, unemployment shoots up, and the collective efforts to deal with the climate change disasters again becomes very, very difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, we must also remember that mere absence of conflict would mean a peace, but a negative peace. We wish to have positive peace which has a fragrance of mutual respect, positive attitudes, respect for international law and human rights, and a sense of sacrifice for marginalized humanity, and voluntary help to promote education and health facilities and to eradicate hunger. I can say this with pride that the idea of universal peace was first given in the 16th century by a Muslim Mughal King Akbar when he gave the concept of Sulh Kul, which means absolute peace. And no religion ever supports conflicts, that is understood. But Islam goes a step further when it says that killing of one person means that you have committed a crime of killing the entire humanity. So that is a message for the peace. Ladies and gentlemen, wars solve no problems. I am a soldier and I am a war veteran also. And I understand that it solves no problem because these destroy lives and livelihood. Wars rush people into push people into starvation. Wars drive people out of their homes and put them into the refugee camps. According to the Council of Foreign Relations, global conflict trackers, today there are 32 global conflicts in different continents of the world. And most prominent among them are, of course, this Ukraine-Russian war, and then what is in the Middle East, Hamas-Israel conflict, presently the Palestinian issue. Then is the Taiwan issue, which has been already covered. Then is Kashmir, which looks very dormant, but it is again called like Gaza, a prison in which people are there in Srinagar and they can't have their right of self-determination as promised by the United Nations in their various resolutions and in various charters, which is unfortunate. We thought even Palestine issue is dormant, and suddenly it erupted. We thought that nothing would happen in Ukraine, but you saw that nobody knew, and suddenly that war cropped up. There is a potential in South China Sea and Taiwan issue. These have the seeds of international and global nuclear conflicts. Because if you see how First World War started and how Second World War started, it is not a planned affair that it will be done that way. Things then there is a chain reaction. And finally, the Second World War culminated on nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So we have to be very, very careful. In addition to that is the Armenian-Azerbaijan issue. Afghanistan is simmering discontentment. Their $9 billion US confiscated. Nobody is recognizing them. Now, what type of help are we now extending to these countries to become part of efforts for international peace? At least we should recognize them, get connected to them, and then help them wherever we need, we are supposed to do. Then is Syria, Libya, Yemen, ethnic conflict in Congo. Then is Myanmar civil war. You see, what are we doing at the international level? Then is unrest in southern Sudan, and then the state in Haiti, you all know. Now, besides this, the unfortunate state is that nuclear arsenals are swelling. There are declared powers, there are undeclared nuclear powers also. Millions in Ukraine and other conflict zones are really, that includes women and children, have been killed and maimed. Millions have been displaced. For example, today in Pakistan, we have about 4 million Afghan refugees for the last over 30 years. And I tell you, under the garb of many refugees, then there are many infiltrators who create terrorism issues, terrorist attacks and so on. Where do you go? A country of third world like Pakistan, which has its own issues. And if you have to also home, and there is no international help for them. West and United States of America supported us when there was Soviet Union invasion of Afghanistan. They trained Mujahideen, and they left them there, all the weapons and everybody, and then they came out. And they were left to nothing was done. And this, what I am saying, was said by Madam Hillary Clinton. She said, we left them high and dry. How then can you solve these conflicts, which are regional conflicts? And then we ask for international peace. Similarly, there are the international laws are being flouted. UN Charter and its resolutions and Geneva Conventions, they are not being followed. They become absolutely irrelevant. You see, in the UN Charter, Chapter 7, it says that if somebody is not listening to you and it is threatening international peace, you should do, number one, its diplomatic isolation. If that does not work, then you work for its economic strangulation and put sanctions. And if that doesn't work, then under the United Nations, there should be a physical use of force by the international community, and then to solve the issue. But nothing is happening. See in Kashmir, see in Palestine, see those resolutions which are there. They are not being implemented. And if you pick and choose, if there is a cherry picking, then of course there will be no justice. Survival of the fittest is the order of the day today. With all honesty, I would say. Anybody who is strong in weapons, for him there are no UN Charter, no UN resolution, no international laws. You follow what you have the might, so that is right. And that is not the way. So what is the impact? Shocks of Ukraine-Russian war have drastically slowed down global economic growth to mere 3.1% in 2022. And it is predicted that in 2023, it will be only 2.2%. And as far as European economy and certain Asian republics economy is concerned, it will even go down to 0.3%. This is one estimate of the global studies. Now, 1 year of Ukraine war has left deep scars on global economic environments and situation. Russia and Ukraine are large producers of wheat and grain. 25 to 30% of world demand is being met by Ukraine. And when these fields are destroyed and there can be no exports, that gives birth to hunger and food shortages in different parts of the country, world. Then is similarly, metallurgical and chemical production of Ukraine is not finding any market. Russian and Ukraine economies have shrunk. Russian 11% and Ukrainian economy by 45%. So sanctions slammed on Russia have also created problems for affected global trade, supply of fuel, gas, and worst it is Europe that way. In addition to Russian war losses in terms of human lives and military equipment, but Russia has lost because so many tanks and so many their army soldiers and generals, they were all killed. In addition to that, their elites $30 billion and their central banks $300 billion have been confiscated. So that again creates a problem. Where will be the arbitration? Where should they go? How should these problems be solved and so on? Now, Israel-Hamas conflict will also affect global economy as oil prices will gradually go up. So, the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report 2023 says that the threats to humanity, there are three priorities. Which is the most dangerous threat? They say the most dangerous threat to humanity is shortage of food, shortage of energy, inflation, cost of living, unemployment, and hunger. This is the main threat to humanity. And these conflicts are creating those environments. Number two priority is then the climate change disasters, for which we must be worried and we must see at whatever. My country, Pakistan, is contributing only 0.8% to the global this climate change and all that. But it is the eighth worst country which is hit by the climate change because of the earthquakes and floods, and you know what is happening there. But we need an international support. The third category is then the trade and technology wars, which ultimately culminate into kinetic wars, and these conflicts which are taking place. And this is a chain reaction. Therefore, the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is that we must go for interfaith harmony. We must work for that. We must obey UN Charter and honor its resolutions. Now, this United Nations story is again a strange. When I was here last time, I also said that at the beginning of 20th century, there were conflicts, and it culminated into First World War, in which 60 million people were killed, displaced, maimed, and they lost their lives and property and everything. And it was realized that we must have some peacekeeping arrangement, conflict resolution, and this League of Nations was created. And then League of Nations became ineffective because we did not allow this to function properly, independently. And that finally culminated into Second World War, in which 100 million people were affected, killed, maimed, and everything, disabled. And at the end, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you used the nuclear bombs. And then we created United Nations, and we fixed its objectives. Number one, conflict resolution. Number two, peacekeeping. Number three, then we said that it will work for human rights. Number four, that it will also resolve issues of refugees. And number five, it will work to improve, empower these environments. Number five is the population control and so on. Where do we stand today? 50 years ago, our population of the entire globe was about 2.5 billion. Today, it is about 7.5 billion. And refugees then were, if they were only 100 million, now it is 10 times more. And similarly, this situation is aggravating. So therefore, I think that we must respect United Nations verdicts, the charter that the United Nations has, the resolutions that they pass, the International Court of Justice is there. And we need, if there is a need, we must reorganize the United Nations. This veto power does not give justice to the third world countries, which are being really butchered. They're losing their children, their women, their old people, their lives are at stake because there is a veto. The entire world may say something, and one veto power will say no, and that is none. How can you satisfy these people? So therefore, if you need to reorganize and take away this Security Council thing, every country must, if it is independent and sovereign, this country must have its own vote. And that is how democratically you do justice. If you can't do this, but are we now again waiting for another Hiroshima and Nagasaki to say that United Nations has failed and we need another arrangement? Kindly, I think it is 21st century. We must now realize we have to live in peace, and that is what we need to do. Bring honesty and fair play in our international relations, and abide by moral and ethical codes which have disappeared. Therefore, and I would like to at the end also say that we are following Prophet Ibrahim. All the big three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, we say Prophet Ibrahim. And we in Islam also we consider our prophets, the Christ and also the Moses and all that. And what is common? We all believe there is one God Almighty, you may call it Allah, you may call it God. And we all believe that He is the creator. That He is the creator. We all believe that. And there is a Quranic verse in this, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ عَلَى الْإِبْلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَعَلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ وَعَلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ وَعَلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. And that means that can you create an elephant? Don't you know how an elephant has been created? Can your artificial intelligence or your nanotechnology can do that? You don't know how the sky has been raised and how this earth has come into being and how these mountains have been fixed. That is the. So we all believe that He is the creator, and we all believe that He is almighty, all powerful. We all believe that He is the ruler, and we all believe that He is the best judge, and we all believe that He can punish, and we all believe that He can forgive. So if that is our belief, why fight? We must be together and working for humanity. No religion really recommends that we should kill each other and that we should not do justice, that we should be dishonest, that we should be hypocrite, and we should do double talk. I think these are all ills which Abrahamic religion does not recommend. So at the end, we all pray and we say, "Oh Allah, I seek your guidance by virtue of your knowledge. I seek ability by virtue of your power. And I ask you of your great bounty. You have power, I have none. You know, I know not. You are the knower of hidden things." With this, I thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.